Hey everybody! The purpose of this video is to get you through the quiz, the workings of single proportion confidence intervals. Just a real quick, nuts and bolts quiz. Number one, the size of the margin of error of a single proportion is dependent upon the value of the sample proportion, aka p hat. True or false? Definitely true. Definitely true. If you look at the margin of error calculation, p hat is part of the calculation, which means it is dependent upon that. So it's true. The size of the margin of error is dependent upon the sample size. True or false? Definitely true. Again, it is definitely true because if you look at the computation of the margin of error, it's the z times the square root of p hat times q hat over n. So we derived that once or twice in class, and we've used it once or twice in class. So the size of the margin of error is dependent upon the population size. Definitely false. Doesn't matter at all how big your population is. It's one of the coolest mathematical parts of confidence intervals. Totally cool. The size of the margin of error is dependent upon the confidence level. It sure is. That's definitely true. We've seen that in class. Depending on how confident you want to be, that alters the overall size of the interval because of that z multiplier again. All right. If a study gives you only p hat, you could correctly construct a 95% confidence interval. Okay, so if you think about what I've told you now, we know what p hat is, which means we also know what q hat is. It's the complement. So we got two pieces of the margin of error. It's 95% confidence, which means we have the z, 1.96, but we don't have the sample size, which means we can't figure out what the n is in the margin of error, so that's false. I think we've also, we just explained number 6, didn't we? So that's number 5 and 6 answered together. Number 7, if the study gives you p hat and also the sample size used, you could correctly construct a 95% confidence interval around that p hat value. True or false? Yep, that's true this time. That is true this time. Refer back. If you answered true, then construct the confidence interval. If you answered false, explain why you can't. I realize after the fact that you guys might not have seen what I was asking you to do here, and that's totally fine. If you put, I couldn't do this question because you didn't give me the numbers, that's a totally acceptable answer. What I was looking for, though, was I was looking for you to say p hat plus or minus 1.96 times the square root of p hat q hat over little n. So I was actually looking for you to write down the general form of the confidence interval. I realized that it was probably too general of a question. I probably should have supplied you the values of p hat. So I'll accept pretty much anything for number 8, whatever you decided to put there. So apologies if that confused anybody. So hopefully those got you some answers to your quiz.